245.
त्रैगुण्यविषया वेदाः
त्रैगुण्यविषया वेदाः
निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन
निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन
निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्त्वस्थो
निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्त्वस्थो
निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान्
निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान्
245.1. The meaning of the words of the shloka. Traigunya Vishayaha. Those with the three gunas as their subject. Vedaha, the Vedas. Nistraigunya, that is Nistraigunya, the one without the three gunas. Bhavarjuna, that is Bhava plus Arjuna. Bhava, you be. Arjuna, O Arjuna. Nirdvando, that is Nirdvantaha, the one free from the pairs of opposites. Nitya Sattvastho, that is Nitya Sattvasthaha, the one ever remaining in Sattva. Niryoga-kshemaha, the one without the thought of acquisition and preservation. Atmavan, the one established in the self. 245.2. The meaning of the shloka. The Vedas have as their subject the three gunas. O Arjuna, you be without or above the three gunas, free from the pairs of opposites and the thought of acquisition and preservation, ever remaining in sattva, be established in the self. 245.3. Bhashya.
त्रैगुण्यविषयाः त्रैगुण्यं संसारः विषयः प्रकाशयितव्यः येषां ते वेदाः त्रैगुण्यविषयाः त्वं तु निस्त्रैगुण्यो भव अर्जुन निष्कामो भव इत्यर्थः निर्द्वन्द्वः सुखदुःखहेतु सप्रतिपक्षौ पदार्थौ द्वन्द्वशब्दवाच्यौ ततः निर्गतः निर्द्वन्द्वो भव त्वं नित्यसत्त्वस्थः सदा सत्त्वगुणाश्रितो भव तथा निर्योगक्षेमः अनुपात्तस्य उपादानं योगः उपात्तस्य रक्षणं क्षेमः योगक्षेमप्रधानस्य श्रेयसी प्रवृत्तिः दुष्करा इत्यतः निर्योगक्षेमो भव आत्मवान् अप्रमत्तः च भव एषः तव उपदेशः स्वधर्मम् अनुतिष्ठतः.
Translation. The three gunas make up samsara. That is the subject matter of Vedas, and therefore they are Traigunya Vishayaha. But you, Arjuna, be above the three gunas, meaning be free from desires. Be without the dualities, dvandva. The word refers to the pairs of opposites that bring pleasure and pain. You rise above them and be nirdvandva. Be nitya sattvasthaha, that is, always depending upon sattva guna. Likewise, be niryoga kshemaha. Yoga is obtaining what you do not have, and kshema is preserving what you have. For the one who considers yoga-kshema as important, that is, amassing and preserving as the main thoughts, it would be difficult to work the path of Shreyas. See 275. Therefore, you be niryoga-kshemaha, the one who has surpassed the thoughts of acquisition and preservation. Be Atmavan, established in the self, meaning one who does not procrastinate. This is the advice for you to follow while engaged in your duty. 245.4 Explanation. The Acharya presents this verse in relation to the undiscriminating people described in the previous shlokas. For them, the Vedas are only textbooks for attaining prosperity in this world and the other. All these worlds are built on the three gunas. That is why the Acharya gives the meaning samsara to the word Traigunya. We have seen in 119 of volume 1 that gunas are the basic building blocks of life. They are sattva, rajas and tamas, the three attributes that in different mixes make up all animate and inanimate things. So long as we are bound in the world of the gunas, we would not know the ultimate principle beyond that. The gunas make us transfers between this world and the others. Thus they are themselves the samsara or the cycle of births and deaths with all the sufferings attached to it. Interpreted thus, the meaning would be, quote, for those without discriminating intellect, pursuing desire and following the many-branched Veda which prescribes rites and rituals, karmakanta, Veda will always be the cause of samsara. The other worlds are as impermanent as this world of wealth and progeny. Unquote. 245.5. The impermanence of the other worlds like heaven has been stressed in many utterances. Mundaka Upanishad 1-10 says, Imam lokam heenataram vavishanti. After enjoying the pleasures in heaven, he reaches this world or worlds worse than this. Bhagavan says the same thing in Shloka 9:21 of Gita. Te tam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam kshine punye martyalokam vishanti. Having enjoyed that heaven, when the good deeds wear off, they enter the world of men. 245.6. Bhagavan advises Arjuna to be nistraigunya, to go beyond the gunas. The Acharya interprets this as nishkama, free from desires. It is the desires that bind us to samsara with the three gunas. If you remove all the desires, you can overcome samsara. Veda gives colorful description of many attractions like heaven, the world of Brahma, etc. The sadhaka should not be enamored of them, nor should he be concerned with the pairs of opposites like pleasure and pain, praise and blame, heat and cold, etc. In other words, he should be a nirdvandvaha. All dualities come and go and are only there in the empirical world. They should not be allowed to affect one's real nature. 245.7. The next piece of advice is to be nitya sattvastaha, or always be in the guna of sattva. This may appear baffling. Having instructed Arjuna to go beyond all the three gunas, how can Bhagavan say that he should be with one of them? Here, we have to see the difference between the ultimate goal and the present situation. The ultimate goal is to realize the self. In that state of everlasting bliss, you have risen above the gunas. But to reach that state, you have to strive and strive. In that journey, you have to pursue qualities like compassion, gifting, spiritual contemplation, etc. These are the elements of sattva guna. If you cling to indolence and laziness, the guna of tamas, you will not reach there, nor will the other extreme of being overactive, rajas, without the qualities of sattva, take you there. Nistraigunya is the goal and sattva the means. 245.8. Another thing the sadhaka should keep away from is yogakshema. Apart from the usual meaning, yoga has also the meaning of acquiring things. Kshema is preserving them. Once you are into acquisition, the more you get, the more will you want. Acquiring things and keeping them well and safe will be an obsession. Sadhana will be very difficult for such a person. 245.9. Finally, the sadhaka has to be atmavan. The Acharya gives it the meaning of apramatta, one who does not have pramada or procrastination. Shruti makes it clear that pramada, is a definitive impediment to spiritual progress. Mundaka Upanishad says in 3.2.4, Nacha pramadat, self-knowledge is not possible with procrastination. The Acharya suggests all these as the steps to be taken on the way. However, the word Atmavan can also be taken as the goal, meaning the one who is established in the self. There are no gunas in the self. They are all in Prakriti or nature. An Atmavan has gone beyond the gunas and realized the self. He enjoys the ultimate peace and ananda. He has realized that he is the embodiment of bliss. Removing all the feeling of I and mine, he is established in his own self. 245.10. He has also gone beyond the Vedas. No doubt, the Vedas are the books of the ultimate knowledge. But as is going to be illustrated in the next sloka, once you arrive there, you have no use of them. They are guideposts and are extremely necessary for the sadhaka. They are aparavidya, not the ultimate wisdom, which is paravidya. Once the destination is reached, they are to be discarded. They are like soap used to wash away the dirt. Once the dirt of ignorance is removed, the soap too has to be washed away. Clinging to them will make you a pedant. Shruti emphasizes this repeatedly. Amrtabindu Upanishad in mantra 18 says, Grantham abhyasa medhavi jnana vijnana tatparaha palalamiva dhyanyarthi tyajet grantham asheshataha. After strengthening his grasp by studying the books of Veda, the one who wants to rise from jnana, knowledge, to vijnana, realization, has to discard the book completely like straw, husk, etc. to get the grain. Look at the greatness of Vedic Dharma. Where else will you find an exhortation to throw away the holy books? Who else will ask you to discard what you have been learning so painstakingly, spending a good part of your life? 245.11. There are two ways of looking at the prescriptions of Nirdvandva, Nityasattwastha and Niryogakshema. One way is to take them as the qualities the sadhaka has to adhere to if he wants to become a Nistraigunya. The other is to look at them as the qualities a Nistraigunya will naturally have. He will not be bothered about dualities, Nirdvandva, or acquiring and preserving wealth, Niryogakshema. As for the Nitya Sattvastha, an Atmavan is always in Sattva Guna. In actual fact, he is not bound by any guna. But as a person of this phenomenal world, he has to have some guna. He can choose which guna to use and exhibit. And he would always choose Sattva Guna, as that is the one most useful for the upliftment of the world. As a Sattva Gunavan, he will be a role model to others and a beacon of spiritual progression. 245.12 Bhashya.
Sarveshu vedokteshu karmasu yani anantani bhalani tani na apekshiyante chet kimartham tani ishwaraya idi anushtiyante idi uchyate shrunu.
Translation. If one is not desirous of the endless results of karma, rites and rituals, mentioned in the Vedas, why should he perform them at all, even as a dedication to God? Listen to the answer. 245.13 Explanation. The teaching has been to be a Nistraigunya. Such a person is beyond the rituals and their results. Then why should he do any holy rituals? The Acharya presents this question and leads us to the answer in the next verse. This question is more relevant for Sloka 47 than for the next Sloka. Maybe the Acharya had both these slokas in mind when he framed this question. It is also possible that this was meant to be just before Sloka 47 and it came to be here in course of time.